And I just, I guess because of that, I go back and in my research was able to really look at some of these genes that we typically now, because of our ability to code the DNA in humans, that there's like 223 genes that tend to have a psychological effect on us. And it seems to me from what the research is showing that those particular genes is what really makes us have the ability to know good and evil. Because I'm like, there's some reason we're doing this. And so it's almost like something changed in our DNA or our makeup that made us have this capability. Now, whether that's a good or bad thing, I think if there is something that's been done to humanity and it was done in a wrong way, then, with the choices that we make could very well come back to haunt us. And I guess that's where my research, I really wanted to understand where are we headed as, humans, and what started all this and how is it going to end. And I guess that is why when I sat down to write my second book, Eden, I started in the very beginning, and I carry you all the way through history, and I end it with what really I saw happen in my dream. So it's a parallelization of good and evil that just runs right through history.
What do you believe causes evil to exist in a human being? They're not all born this way.
Well,
they're made, aren't they?
The thing about it is, and of course, I'm just going by what I've read, and of course, I look back and I know that after the flood, that one of the things that the Lord God specifically said was that man, has this evil nature about him, and I'm never going to flood the earth again. So that tells me that if the Creator said that we had this nature, then apparently it's something that is within the DNA. And now that we have the scientific ability to break down, and code, human DNA, it really does tell us that there may very well be that we have this placed within us. And, the only way to, I guess, to be good is to choose to be good. But your nature may very well be something that tries to make you not do good. So it's something you're going to have to fight against all the time. And if you try to live your life and be good to people, then you know that you have a conscience. And if you do something a little bit out of the ordinary, your conscience will put you back in line because you'll start feeling really bad about it, like you shouldn't, have done this, and you'll ask, for the person to please, forgive you. But it seems to me from dealing with people who have had problems that when they started doing evil and they continued to do evil, that they never heard that little, what I call the little voice of consciousness anymore. It was almost like the further they got away or the more they continued to do evil, they never heard that thing like, like we would typically feel that maybe I should not have done that, and someone asked for forgiveness from the person if I hurt that person or whatever. So there's something to it. I mean, there's something there, and even in my book, I laugh and say that, poor old Flip Wilson may have had it right when he said the devil made me do it.
Well, we've seen the devil enter a lot of people in our lives, haven't we?
Well, I mean, and I even bring up, Malachi Martin. I mean, this man absolutely has documentation of what it was like to exorcise, demons from people. And, of course, in the Bible, Jesus, that was one of the first things he did. He actually ran a demon out of a person. And the thing that just really got me, George, was the fact that the demon talked to Jesus, and Jesus talked back to the demon, and then the demon ran out of a person and ran into the swine, and then they went into the water and tried to kill themselves. I mean, so you can't say that these things don't exist because there's record of them existing. And if anyone has ever seen an exorcism, I'm going to tell you that demonic being that comes out, if you were there and you had the chance to see it, you will never forget what that looks like.
I've heard some, but I've never witnessed one, and I'm not sure I
the,
want to.
it looks kind of like the similarity that I've seen is like you know what a big cockroach or a big palmetto bug looks like,
Mm-hmm.
and that brownish blackish color with long-looking wings and bat-looking kind of thing. It has a resemblance to that kind of look. It's something you won't ever forget. And when people are having these experiences and these things are being cast out of them, they are actually speaking in other languages, and it's quite evident that something's inside of them.
I'm told that some people can get possessed, that some of the evil that they encounter, it's because, they're depressed or, drinking could do it, but that when you basically put your gloves down, the demon can take over. Do you agree with that?
Yes. I mean, the power, you have certain power over yourself, but like I say, when you start meddling in these types of demonic activity and participate in them, then you are inviting that into your presence. Of course, I've studied a lot, and I have a lot of research in my book Eden about the pineal gland,
mm-hmm.
and I truly believe that is a type of a transmitter that exists in our foreheads. It is a quartz, and when you vibrate that, it actually causes this little gland to spin, and it almost looks like a serpent's tongue flickering. The thing that's interesting to me is that if a person engages in, let's say, channeling, or sitting over oracle sites, or trying to bring the kundalini up the spine in the 7 chakras, that there is an experience going on where that is allowing that third eye to be opened. And when a person seems to be inhibited, or they're inhabited by these particular beings, you find that at the moment that the channeling is open, that the person that is sitting there is no longer that person. There is actually something within that person speaking. And I even go a little bit further, because I worked with some schizophrenics, and of course, having had really a close relationship with some of them, they would say, Joy, I hear these voices in my head. These voices are telling me to do these things. I never heard, not any of the people that I work with ever tell me that they heard somebody go, this is a great day, I'm going to have a great time, this is, no big problem. It was always terrible things. It was evil things that were being told to them. And the most interesting factor was when they heard these things, or when those personalities changed and these things happened to them, they were in a high excited state. In other words, it was almost like they were being electrically charged. I had one young man that when he would get like this, George, his hands, he could not hold his hands down by the side of his body and relax. And I would know when he would be trying to come to me to get help, his arms would start raising up in front of him. He had no controllability. It was almost like, if you think about a person being electrocuted, how they look like they're just sitting there just shaking and their arms are up. He would be in that kind of state when this would start happening to him.